I've made this video announcement before, but I'll say it as many times as necessary because my reputation depends on making this part of my life very clear and completely transparent. Um, at a certain stage of my life, I was so isolated without any female companionship. And I was also lacking memories that I already had female companionship from my early years. So I was unable to react appropriately to acknowledge uh, women who had been my companions when I was very young. And I was also unable to know that I had any female companions when I was very young. So all I had was the fear of not having ever had any female companions because of my lack of memories. And I'm giving this warning to people who think it's medically um, normal to be a vegan. It is actually um, a cause for lack of enough neurotransmitters and mental uh, cognitive failure. And it may be slow and gradual, but eventually the real results are cognitive failure. And I wanted to mention um, a musician, Billie Eilish, Billie Eilish. Maybe it's like Eileen, Billie Eilish. I don't know. I, whatever. I don't want to fiddle with her last name here. And she says she's a vegan. Well, at the very least, she has to eat um, something more than just the vegan diet. Although it's better now than it used to be, it's still going to be a cause for mental cognitive failure. So I just wanted to mention that. So anyway, back to my early childhood. Okay, the lack of memories, and then my lonely young adulthood. I said I better learn how. I better learn how to have some confidence from uh, learning with female animals. And it was actually, you could say, homophobia was one of the motivations. But there are reasons to be uh, have some anxiety about not having female companions. There's no replacement. So, anyway, female animals. I make this announcement again and again, so don't get excited about it. I've done it before. It's on video in multiple videos that I've uploaded to YouTube, maybe also TikTok. So anyway, female animals. What I did is, I think I was first trying for female horses. Why do I always say female every time? Because if you take a quote out of context, it can look strange, and it could suit the narratives of enemy uh, deception, disinformation distributors. So I always say female animals. I could say a mare. Anyway, a female horse, and it was partially successful and partially a failure because my legs were not long enough for her, so I could not stand on my tippy toes long enough to complete the act. I did uh, get to enter my um, male part into her female part, and it was very um, worthwhile. So then I was planning to bring her to the barn, and I was at one point I was riding on one of the mares on her back, but I didn't have a reins. I didn't have any harness on her head, um, not a saddle or a harness or anything. And it was a strange thing to be doing at night. Anyway, I was going to bring her to the barn, and I was also looking for a miniature mare named Bobbin, and I had seen her around a manufacturing facility called Solar Electronics, and it was near the barn. And I had also remembered there had been horses in there before, and just on the off chance there might be a female, I didn't know every horse by name, and I wasn't sure if there were hypothetically duplicates, like two white horses, so I wanted to feel under the tail in case there might be a vagina. Of course, I knew there was a horse named Wizard that was a male, but there's no harm in feeling under the tail. Either there's a vagina or not. So anyway, but I was also sort of what they say, casing the barn for preparation to bring a mare from a pasture that was near, where do we call it, Apple Orchard Lane. So I was going to bring a mare to that barn anyway, and I was also checking it out. And anyway, so that's the extent of it with horses, was a mare and feeling under the tail. I don't remember if I felt under the tail of Wizard. I don't remember that. But maybe, I don't know if Wizard was in there. I don't remember. I do remember, I think, going into the barn, but it was dark. I don't know if I brought a flashlight. I think I might have done nothing there. I don't remember it clearly, but all I can tell you is female horses. That was my objective, to enhance my masculinity, not to destroy my masculinity. It was for my self-improvement, not for the destruction of myself. And I would say that a mare is a very good option for a lonely man. But they really went after me about, they're like, bestiality is bestiality. And it doesn't matter what gender the animal was. Bestiality is what homosexuals do. I'm like, wow, that's a new attitude, because people used to have horses instead of cars. And men had constantly, a fraction of the population of men had obviously been tempted by their mares, and obviously also some would have been gay for their horses. And well, that's unfortunate when that happens for a man. It must be terrible. Anyway, oh Lord. So then, female dogs. I'll tell you a funny story. I brought one out into the garden, a big fat old black female dog. Brought her out into the garden, but I didn't do anything because I was suspicious. I was under surveillance. All right, that's enough for this video. I'll do another.